Good morning, a warm welcome to all our viewers. Good morning in particular, and a Gitavach, Shavua Tov to Peter, to Eitan, to Estelle, and all those that are still joining us for as we head into a week of mourning over Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who has passed away. And obviously, it's a time for reflection for all of us. It feels very much like a personal loss, since she was so much a part and parcel of our lives. So I want to share a brief idea that I said yesterday in shul for those that were not there, and then afterwards we can perhaps move on. We know that that a Jewish king, when he was appointed, he was commanded, expected to have. There was always his tenure was by the rule of law, and therefore he was expected to have a Sefer Torah in his palace. But he was also expected to write a Sefer Torah, which he would be able to take out with him to war or to wherever he would find himself. And the question is obvious: why the need for two Torah, a large one and a mini one, which he would be able to carry with him wherever he went? And the answer that's suggested by Diane Rappaport quite beautifully is that when one starts off any leadership position, inevitably a person starts off with great goals and dreams and visions of greatness. One starts out with tremendous ideals and virtues, but inevitably, very often, or more often than not, over the course of time, there are inroads. Gradually, those ideals become eroded, diluted, and diminished. And therefore, it is essential that he has both the small Sefer Torah and the big one, because the small Sefer Torah, inevitably, things could be changed, altered, as he finds himself in a political position where he feels the need to make compromises. But when he is able to return to his palace throughout his reign, he'll be able to compare and contrast the two to see whether he is still living and ruling according to the lofty standards that he committed to when he took the mantle of leadership. And I think it's true about each and every one of us as we start, please God, in a couple of weeks, a new year, a Rosh Hashanah, and then we think about the year ahead. Imagine the first day at school. My kids have just started, school. So the first day, freshly dressed, brand new uniforms, everyone, the pencils are sharpened, the school bag is ready to go. There's no stains, there's no holes in the trousers. The book, everything is pristine, everything is the way it should be. And over the course of the year, we know what happens. Stains on the clothes, on the uniforms, on the jackets, and some of the stationery goes missing, and the books become a bit ruffled and worn out. And over the course of the year, the ideals or the intentions of everything should be, it should be perfect, should be the way it was intended, pristine and in immaculate condition. That somehow disappears. And therefore, in the same way, I think all of us, if you think about our year ahead, we start off a Rosh Hashanah and we say, this year is going to be different. Isn't that what we say? This year, I'm really going to make sure that I don't speak badly about people, that I'm kind to people, I've got more time for people, and I'm going to be a better Jew. I'm going to maybe up my game in terms of my commitments and in terms of my faith. And then all of a sudden, we find ourselves maybe in a pickle or in a dark place, and all those dreams and ideals and the lofty standards and the bar that was so high, the gold standard that we wanted, all of a sudden we find ourselves that we've stumbled and fallen. And instead of picking ourselves up and dusting ourselves off and saying, no, I'm going to get back on the horse, or I'm going to get back to where I was, very often we fall back into bad habits. We go back to the old self. And the message clearly from this whole period is that Her Majesty, no matter what was going on in her life, she always maintained, or always tried to maintain, the most lofty standards, the outstanding virtues of honesty, integrity, ethical, moral lifestyle. She always behaved and conducted herself as a true queen, as a true monarch. And each of us, we know that God, we refer to as Bini Bachori, the firstborn of the Almighty. And if that's the case, then we are expected to behave. If God is the King of Kings and we are really royalty, we are blue-blooded, the Jewish people. We are his chosen people, and we're expected to act and conduct ourselves every single day in that fashion. And the same way that we see that time and again, the camera is rolling, that we find ourselves, our every action, our every deed is analyzed, is scrutinized by those around us. So therefore, like a king or queen, where whatever they do, their actions are photographed and videoed by the press and other people. So we have to know that that is our responsibility. That's what we're born into. We are very much, in a sense, kings and queens. We are princes of God, and therefore we are expected to behave in the very best traditions of being Jewish. So please God, we should all be able to emulate and to be inspired and aspire to upping our game, improving our standards, and keep growing and continuing to learn. I think one of the other aspects that very much impressed me about Her Majesty is the fact that she had a thirst, a real thirst for knowledge, for learning about people, about countries, about cultures, and in particular about faiths. She was exceptionally knowledgeable about Judaism and other faiths. It's well documented. And, really she'd put many of us to shame. And I think that is something that we can pick up on and we can hopefully take on board, that we can make that extra effort to learn a bit more about our own faith. And then afterwards, then we can learn about other faiths. That's my message for today. Looking forward to seeing you throughout the week. You will see that tomorrow, there will be an email going out inviting anyone and everyone to a memorial service, which will be at St. John's Wood, Shore, and that is that is a communal service run by the United Synagogue. I'll be there taking part, and I hope that you can join us. Wishing you all well. Take care.